The Choo Barn actually had very humble beginnings back in 1945 when my father returned from World War II to a 2-year-old son, my older brother Gary. There was no master plan or great dream on my father George's part. He only wanted to bring joy to his little boy and also have a train set of his own that he didn't have when he was a child. The first train set, a $12.50 Lionel Scout set, became the first building block of what would eventually be our gigantic model train display. Just as hobbies grow, so do families. My sister Sue and I followed shortly after this first train set purchase, and we too became part of the train family of Strasburg. Each year, we would start to work on our platform right after Halloween so it would be ready for the Christmas season. My parents would then open the display up to friends, family, and neighbors who visited during the holidays. Since we lived only a block away from the Strasburg Elementary School, each class would walk down to our house one by one to see the trains. While growing up in Strasburg, our basement became quite a train mecca, with homemade houses and mountains and something that was unique: animation. My father's first piece of animation was the ski slope, complete with moving dime store skiers. This was followed shortly thereafter by a highway with 2 lanes of cars passing each other. Both of these animations are still on the Choo Barn's display today. When my brother was getting ready to go to enter college, my parents needed some extra money to help with the added expense. At the time, the concession stand at the Strasburg Railroad was manned by the Strasburg Lions Club, and being a Lion, my father signed up. He passed an old red barn 1 block from the Strasburg Railroad on his way to help with the concessions, and a light lit up in his head. He mulled this idea over all day, and when he was finished with his duties, he went home and told my mother that he wanted to move the train display to the barn and charge admission, whereby helping with the added college costs. He found the owner of the red barn, leased it for 1 year on a trial basis, and the rest, as they say, is history. The Choo Barn opened for business on Thanksgiving Day of 1961. The display was 500 square feet, and there were 6 trains and 6 animated scenes. Over the years, the display has grown to over 1,700 square feet, and we now have 22 operating trains and over 150 animated pieces. All the animations on the display are handmade from scratch by either my father or me. Many of my father's animations that he built during the 1960s are still on the Choo Barn's display, but many of these early mechanisms have been rebuilt due to wear over the years. Most of the buildings on the display are also hand-built. The ones that aren't are slated to be replaced by new ones that I will design and build in the future. I am constantly upgrading and improving the layout, utilizing the newest landscaping materials on the market, the latest figures and vehicles available, and new scratch building techniques that I have perfected these past 50 years. The display is closed each winter and completely cleaned. We vacuum and dust every square inch, wash each car, and clean each figure. This is also the time that work becomes more enjoyable, because this is when I design, create, and build new animations, buildings, and scenery to help improve the wow factor as you walk through the curtain. The Choo Barn's layout, like many home train layouts, will never be finished. It has been and will continue to be a work in progress, expanding the artistry of model railroading.